right, so welcome back. We're here at the men's final. It's going to be Adam Weber against Karie Kreutz, who just beat out Gary Baird. What do you know about Adam?
Well, Adam has been a great player right from the time he was in youth bowling. He came up through the ranks and made it to nationals many times. He's got a resume as long as my arm here. Twice Open National Men's Team Champion, so that's in this event at the Nationals. One-time Open National Singles Champion, so he was the top player in the whole country one time. Open Provincial Champion 3 times, Masters National Singles Champion once, 5 times Western Canada Bowling Tour, that's the Pro Tour for money. He's won the Autumn Open in Calgary 4 times, which is incredible, and also the Tournament Players Championship at Sherwood Park. There's also one perfect game he's bowled.
That's hard to believe.
I'm kind of surprised he hasn't had more, actually. But no, he's got a wonderful resume, and as does his competitor,
Karie
Kreutz, who has almost as long a resume as Adams.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, both are wonderful players in our game here.
Yeah, it's going to be yet another exciting match. I'm almost guaranteeing it.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like the gentlemen have started with spares. So right off the bat, we're even Steven. Just a reminder, Karie Kreutz is from Wetaskiwin, and he bowls out of our central zone. And like Ray was saying, several national tournaments. He's also the 2009 Regina Classic champion. It looks like he, in 2017, had a great year. He was the Heritage Traditional Champion and the Autumn Open Champion.
And those are both those cash tournaments?
Yeah, part of the WCBT.
And there has to be a lot of credit go to Dexter and Tim Wiseman from Edmonton, who have been the organizers, mainly the organizers of the WCBT, and also Karie Kreutz from Wetaskiwin as well. And we are getting players in to those tournaments from even the United States. So it's been great, yeah.
You know, it's great for the sport of bowling. You know, it's trying to get 5-pin bowling back into, you know, a larger group.
Just as an example, in Regina, there was a big tournament that just finished there, and the person who won the tournament was Matt Schultz from Edmonton.
Right.
And his total winnings were over $7,000.
Oh, that's amazing.
For a weekend, you know, so
that's amazing.
That's getting into some nice money there.
Absolutely. That certainly doesn't hurt. It makes it worthwhile heading out to Regina, that's for sure. Now, one thing I have to say about Adam Weber, you know, he just throws such a smooth, accurate ball. Like, it is just a beautiful thing to watch. It really is. It's something when you see these guys that just lay it down and you almost can't even hear it go.
Mm-hmm. They still managed to get it out on the lane a little bit, and they put good mix on the ball.
Yeah.
Too. They have a lot of turn on the ball. It's going at a fairly high rate of speed, so it doesn't actually break too much.
Yeah, I think I saw at some point today he'd thrown one that was like 53 kilometers an hour. It was crazy. Just as a reference, I throw it at about 19 and 20.
Well, it is really something. You can throw hard in this game and score well, and you can throw a softer ball and you can still score well. So just because you can't throw it really hard doesn't mean you can't bowl and be good at it.
Absolutely. You know, the accuracy is really important. You know, it's one thing to throw the ball hard, but if you're not accurate, it really doesn't matter. You might get lucky a couple of times, but there is a skill level to it as well, making sure that you're hitting the middle on every shot so that you can give your ball the best chance that it's got.
Oh, Karie gets what we call aces here.
It's rare to see that happen with these types of bowlers.
Aces is both corner pins up on the first ball.
It's practically impossible to spare that one up, but I'm sure if anybody could do it, it'd be Karie.
I think that's one where the hard ball probably has more chance of getting the spare, Michelle.
Yeah.
I've seen it done a few times.
Yeah.
But it's still rare.
Oh, that was a tough break.
He picks up both his sticks, though, so he gets 15 in that frame.
Yeah.
He did throw that first ball pretty thick. Like, quite often that would be a head pin, but because he had a lot of action on the ball, he actually split that up and left aces. So
Right.
if it had been on a, say, on a spare, he would have scored extra points.
Yeah, exactly.
So aces net would have been better than a headpin.
Yeah. Okay, but he follows it up with a strike, which I'm sure he's pretty happy about it because he has been on the middle since the beginning of the game and hasn't had a lot of great breaks.
Well, earlier on in this tournament, I saw that some of these players who throw pretty hard were getting some bad breaks, but it seems like now they've adjusted their game a little bit, and they're actually getting more strikes than they were earlier in the day.
Yeah.
I can't say what that's been, except that perhaps they've made a bit of an adjustment to make those corners go.
Yeah, and and that's a sign of the really good bowlers. You might get somewhere and maybe what you normally do isn't working, and it's that ability to be able to adjust, whether it's a spot on your lane, where you move, where you start your stance, or where you move a spot that you're looking at out on the lane. But to know how to do that and to be able to adapt as you're going through and make the best of a situation.
And to do it in a hurry.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because there's, you don't have a bunch of practice balls to practice it on. You just have to make the adjustment and trust your shot. Right?
Well, exactly. That's where it is. Every bowling alley is not the same. They're all what we call dressed differently. You might have some that are acrylic, some that are wood. There's so many things that can be different in each house. So it's just because you're a good bowler in one place, it's more than that. It is that ability to adapt and change as you need to. That makes you a great bowler.
Yeah, it's amazing. They buy the pins and all the equipment from the same suppliers, but every set of lanes has its own character.
Absolutely.
And the bowler does have to adjust.
Now, unfortunately, Adam, he did just have 3 in a row, but has gotten a head pin in the 5th frame. That does open it up. So, as we've said before, he's going to want to make sure that he takes down every pin that's up there in the remaining 2 balls that he has. Now, he does, actually, I should mention, Adam Weber has spared a head pin today.
He did do it today. I saw that. I was quite impressed, yeah.
So, but it does not look like he's going to be able to do it this time. He punches the 3 pin on that first ball, the left 3 pin. So now he's going to go for the right 3-2.
Yes, there have been books written on technique for 5-pin bowling. Tom Patterson from Saskatoon has written about 4 or 5 books on 5-pin bowling, the mental game, the physical game. The technique bowling was his very first book on bowling. And it really is what we try to teach the youth is the fundamentals of the game.
Right.
Every person will have their own style, but there's still fundamental things, like with any sport, where you can do better if you obey the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
So anyone who's out there who's interested in learning more about 5-pin bowling, pick up some books by Tom Patterson.
Yeah,
I'd say probably Technique Bowling would be the first one to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really called the 5-Pin Bowler's Guide, and it's a great one to learn, and it looks at the competitive game too.
And if you are interested in bowling and you start, the first thing is to start a league, and it doesn't matter if you're good or you're bad or you've never bowled before, you can do it. And once you get into it, you're going to find, like we've talked about the Masters. Masters bowl regular leagues too. And now, sorry, just to interrupt for a second, Karie has unfortunately gotten aces again for the second time in this game, which is a little unusual.
It's pretty rare to get 2 sets of aces in one game.
Yeah. But as I was saying, you get to know the bowlers in your leagues, and oftentimes if you find somebody who is a master, if you go up and you talk to them, oftentimes they'll come and coach you.
Sure.
Usually coaches are very happy to come and help new bowlers out.
Well, and the thing is, with any sport, you really can't see your own game as you're playing it.
Yeah.
There are things like video,
Coach's eye, I think, is one. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually the coach can give you immediate feedback.
Absolutely.
Usually with video, there's a little lag there. So,
sure.
The coach is so important in this game.
Yeah. And it's often, like we've talked about, it's not just about the technique of the game. There is a mental portion of the game that is huge, especially when you get into competitive bowling, like we talked about several times today, where there are things like, having aces twice in a game could really mess with your mental game. And really competitive, experienced bowlers oftentimes won't let it bother them. and they will just plug away at it and keep going. Now, Adams answered back he did have a head pin in the 5th, so he's answered back with a strike in the 6th. So he's going to be pretty happy about that.
I should mention these bowlers, even though they're in a single event, have coaches here helping them. So Adam has a coach from Edmonton, Mike Lecoisier, who's an excellent player in his own right.
Absolutely.
And tried to qualify for the step ladder, but
today.
didn't quite.
No,
he didn't quite make it to this level, but he has been a high-level player before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he knows Adam very well, so he's a wonderful coach. And coaching that emotional, mental game is so important too.
Yeah.
Right?
And then Karie Kreutz's coach is Mike Tweedy, who has also been in the sport for a very long time.
From my hometown of Red Deer.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so.
Now, unfortunately, Adam was off of the middle on that first ball. He just.
What do you think he did there? Did he rush a little bit, or do you think he
most
pushed up
likely,
maybe?
right? You know, sometimes you get a little unfocused when you're going in, and it's amazing. You can just lose focus for that one moment there, and whether you're rushing or you maybe don't get it out on the lane as much, or you just even take your eye off your spot for just a moment. These things can have this impact.
Well, I know personally one of my biggest faults has been rushing the approach. And then your arm actually gets behind your body.
Sure.
And then you get to the line, and your arm really has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And you don't have good accuracy that way. So timing is so important.
Oh, it really
If
is.
your timing is off, your game is toast pretty much.
Yeah.
So you really got to work, and that first step is so important sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. And unfortunately, it looks like he was trying a little too hard on the next 2 balls and ended up punching his head pin into the 3 pin instead of sparing it up. But being the high-level competitor that he is, I'm sure he's going to regroup and come back into the 8th.
Well, the coach is talking to him right now.
Yeah.
You know, and say a few words. Like you see coaches in any sport, they'll give a little encouragement, give a little bit of calming influence there.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. Well, and Karie Kreutz answers back with a strike in the 7th. This game definitely not out of reach for him, especially with Adam opening in the 7th and him being able to mark in the 7th.
That was a real solid shot by Karie. Yeah, he just had his timing. He had everything going the right way, and it doesn't really matter so much the speed. It's more like if you got that rhythm and timing here.
No, for sure.
It makes a big difference at the far end of the house.
Yeah.
The pins seem to know if you did it right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
they're pretty smart down there. Sometimes they're not very nice, but sometimes they're quite smart.
No, sometimes they are not very nice. Oh,
there you go. That wasn't so nice.
Yeah, not so nice. Those are the not so nice pins we were talking about earlier. That is a head pin in the 8th. And unfortunately, Karie just really has struggled to get any momentum going in this game. Adam had a little bit at the beginning in the first 4 frames, but has struggled since. So Karie's going to do his best to get the most pins that he can in this frame. But after 7 frames, he's behind Adam by, what is that, 27 points. Now Adam could come back and get a strike, and that completely changes
what Karie's doing right there with that head pin. We call that chopping wood with a dull axe. You know, you're out there and you're slashing away at the tree, but it's not. You're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Of course, the strike, then your axe is sharp, but in that case with a head pin, take the edge right off it.
Yeah, he's been really accurate this game. He hasn't missed the middle yet. But unfortunately, those head pins and aces just have really, killed the momentum in his game.
And they seem to fall to everybody, It's like there's nobody immune to it.
No, that's for sure.
We're looking for the vaccination that you wouldn't get head pins anymore.
All right, so Adam just threw a chop off in the 8th frame. Now, ideally, he will want to spare this up to give him a little bit more of a cushion between him and Karie. He is leading Karie right now, like I said. But any black mark helps, that's for sure. You don't want to. You always want to stay aggressive in your game.
Well, we're getting down to captain crunch time here, right? It's the last few frames here are crucial, and we'll see what happens. It's
and
bad
he does.
break there.
Yeah, he does not. He's not able to convert that chop off into a spare. So the most he can hope for is 15 this frame.
That's that shot that looks easy but isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so easy to punch that 3-pin or try to overcompensate and take out the 2.
No, for sure. He is able to pick up the 2 pins. So that brings him to a 180 or 199. So right now he's leading Karie by 32 pins. Neither of them is working on a spare or strike in the 8th frame. So, it can go anyway. There's 90 pins left in this game. The question is who's going to take them?
Yeah, it's down to gut check time, I guess you might say.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And both these players have shown with their history that they are up to the task.
And just a reminder, should Adam win this game, it will be over and he will be the champion. But should Karie pull out this game, they will bowl one more game. Adam does have to lose twice.
That's the advantage of being the high qualifier.
It is the advantage. Oh, and he gets tapped with the right corner.
He buried that ball in there.
He sure did.
That's the thing with the fast ball. The ball went right behind the corner pin.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3-pin went with it, so it didn't take out the corner pin on that shot, even though it was right in the pocket.
So he's really going to want to make sure that he picks this corner pin for the spare.
This is where he'd like Diane helping him here.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Channel Diane Violini right now. Or Kelsey Wilton, because I don't think she missed any either. And neither did he. And neither did he. So ideally, Karie's going to want to make sure that he gets a strike on this 9th frame.
Well, Karie can make up some ground here with a strike and have a stronger foundation into the 10th, but he needs it because he's down by those 32 points.
Exactly.
So it's pretty much to draw even in that case.
Yeah. Oh, and he does not. He has pretty much just sealed
There's
his.
That dreaded head pin.
We've seen this a couple of times throughout the matches, and geez, anywhere that you really don't want a head pin in this is that one place, is that foundation frame. And then he just picked a 2-pin.
I think he was going for the spare there, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he knew that
he needed it.
He had to. It's almost impossible spare.
Yeah. Oh, and then you can see a little maybe frustration set in.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is understandable, He's been on the middle the entire game. With just unfortunately only 3 strikes to show for it. Oh, and he punches a head pin, and it just keeps going.
Kind of sealed the deal there.
Yeah.
His axe got dull in a hurry. And
yeah. So with that, Adam Weber will be our provincial champion. So he's just got to go and finish his 10th frame. So how many will that be now?
Oh, he'll up his total. He'll have been to the.
So this will be his fourth time to the as a single.
As a singles to the nationals, and
that's pretty impressive.
Oh boy, he's got a great resume too.
Yeah.
He was the singles champion at nationals once before, so this will give him another shot to represent Alberta at the nationals and bring home the bacon to this fine province of ours.
Absolutely, absolutely. We would have been good with either of these competitors, representing us. Absolutely.
The ladies did wonderfully well, and either one of them would be a fine representative.
Yeah, and now you can see the pressure's off. Nice strike in the 10th for Adam Weber. He's going to finish this game off.
So we've seen some wonderful competition.
Oh.
And throughout the rest of the week now, we might mention too that the team events start tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And each of the 5 zones have men's teams, ladies teams, and mixed teams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real enthusiasm, I guess you'd say. There's a lot of cheering and there's a lot of camaraderie. It's wonderful. So. Again, we won't be covering the team events with television, but by all means, if you ever get a chance to come and see
any kind of competitive bowling,
it's great, and you see some terrific athletes here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us for this step ladder. I'm glad that we were able to provide you guys with some really exciting games, and congratulations to all the competitors that competed today. Everybody did fantastic. It was all very exciting. and it just came over into the step ladder. So on behalf of myself and Ray, I want to thank you guys.
Michelle, and